Hello everyone and welcome to a new lesson with Miss Rafa. Today we're going to complete with Unit 3, Poetry, the reading skill. Open your activity book and let's get started. Reading, page 22 to 23, activity book. A prominent figure in English literature. John Keats, 1795 to 1821, was a prominent English poet in the second generation of the Romantic era, along with Lord Byron and Percy Bysshe Shelley. He devoted his short life to the perfection of a poetry marked by vivid imagery, great touching appeal, and an attempt to express a philosophy through classical legend. His reputation grew after his early death, and he was greatly admired in the Victorian age. His influence can be seen in the poetry of Alfred Lord Tennyson. The son of a stable manager, John Keats received relatively little formal education. After his father died in 1804, Keats had close emotional ties to his sister, Fanny, and his two brothers, George and Tom. The Keats children lived with their widowed grandmother at Edmonton, Middlesex. John started school at Enfield. At school, Keats was noted as an aggressive guy, but in 1809 he began to read eagerly. John Keats was trained by a surgeon in 1811. He broke off the training in 1814 and went to London, where he worked as a dresser or junior house surgeon at Guy's and St. Thomas's hospitals. His literary interests had been crystallized by this time, and after 1817 he devoted himself entirely to poetry. From then until his early death, the story of his life was largely the story of the poetry he wrote. John Keats wrote sonnets, odes, and epics. All his greatest poetry was written in a single year, 1819. Lamia, the Eve of St. Agnes, the great odes to a nightingale, on melancholy, and to autumn, and the two unfinished versions of an epic on Hyperion. Today his poems and letters remain among the most popular and analyzed in English literature. Keats is remarkably a sensitive collector, organizer, and transmitter of sensations, who tasted to the full the beauties of the world and sought to increase them in his writings. Adapted from the Romantic Poets. Skim the text, then match the following headings with the suitable paragraph. What was John Keats' childhood like? Paragraph 2. What was John Keats' occupation? Paragraph 3. What did John Keats write? Paragraph 4. Why is John Keats important? Paragraph 1. Now B. Match the words in the box with their definitions. Devote, appeal, aggressive, eagerly, ode. A serious and urgent request. Appeal. To dedicate or to give an amount of time, attention, etc. to something. Devote. A poem or song written in order to praise a person or an event. Ode. Very eager to argue or fight with people. Aggressive. Having an extremely strong desire to do or have a lot of something. Eagerly. Now see. Decide if the following statements are true or false. Correct the false ones. John Keats is considered one of the early Romantic poets. False. He is the second generation of the Romantic poets. Keats' poetry contained lively and attractive images. True. Keats was a well-known and influencing poet during his life. False. After his death. Keats' literary interests appeared before he worked at hospitals. False. After he worked at hospitals. To a Nightingale is one of Keats' greatest epics. False. It is one of Keats' greatest odes. D. Complete the following sentences with information from the text. Keats' relationship with his family was close emotional ties. The story of the poetry he wrote was the story of his life. when we analyze Keats' poems and letters, we notice Keats is remarkably a sensitive collector, organizer, and transmitter of sensations. That's everything for today. Thank you very much. See you next lesson.